Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. This is part 3, which is possibly going to be the final part about pressure points and chi power, or pressure points and chi, or chi and pressure points. I don't remember how the hell I had it worded, but anyway. When I left off, I was talking about how I couldn't shoot people with my hands with chi power. Alright? So we're going to hurry up and try to finish this because I have to go to work in like 20 minutes. So this is going to have to be as quick as possible. Or at least I got to be out of the door by 2 o'clock. Because I got to go print out my study guide for my exams. It's coming soon. Okay, so I told you guys how I felt chi and it was a heat sensation, and how I took Qi Gong and the teachers and the senseis that taught me about chi before I took Qi Gong. And once I took Qi Gong, my Qi Gong sensei, Sifu, Shidoshi, whatever you want to call her, taught me how it was working and why it was working, etc., etc. So, in that, as I said, I personally have experience with chi. I state that, I cannot shoot blast out of my hands like video games. But I do know that chi does exist. Now, there is no true way of defining how chi works for you. There is no true way of saying that chi works like in the movies and video games, because it does not. If it does, again, as I said in the other two videos, you come teach me. Teach my 47-year-old ass how to shoot beams out of my hands. Now I can tell you again, my chi experiences were my hands catching on fire. Not literal fire, but like burning from the inside out. Like there was a fire inside my hand, and I could feel it all over my hand. And then when I started taking Qi Gong, I could feel it in my entire arms, basically to the elbow to the hand. So obviously I can't feel it all the way up the body, but in the hands to like about right here, pretty much the elbow, I could feel it when I was doing Qigong, when the Qigong teacher was teaching me how to do cultivating of the Qi and stuff like that. I don't even practice that now, but I still know how to do it. I just don't practice it because now that I can actually do more physical style martial arts, I'm back in the game. So that's pretty much it for chi. I'm not going to say that it doesn't exist. I'm not going to say that you can shoot powers and shit out of your hands. But I will say in some Chinese kung fu, to tap into your chi can make you damn near invincible. Part of the Iron Body technique focuses on chi and how you can supposedly, key to that was the word supposedly, distribute your chi through your body so that you are impervious to pain for a certain amount of time. If you have not taken the Iron Body technique training, do not attempt. A lot of it is more like solid muscle versus flesh. A lot of it is body and conditioning, and a lot of it is your mindset, because you can turn your pain sensors off to a certain degree. However, that shit's only temporary, so I know my limits on Iron Body. I used to do Iron Body technique all the time. Everybody thought that shit was bullshit. And then people would be hitting me, and I could like absorb the pain without feeling the pain. But I like to think that I might have just been a little bit psycho. So, and adrenaline is a powerful thing. So, if you're feeding off of getting beaten, then it's probably not something that's going to hurt you at that time. But when that adrenaline stops, and when all that pain really sets in, you're going to fucking know it. Because Iron Body technique, when you're done using it, the pain does come in. It does sink in. And it can be a shock to the system, so to speak. So Iron Body is one of those things where you focus your chi. Now, we go any further with that. If you are taking Thai fighting, traditional Thai fighting from Thailand, not American kickboxing, not American version of Thai fighting, but straight Thai fighting from Thailand where they're beating you with rods and shit, something that a lot of people don't discuss when you are taking traditional Thai fighting, when you have to take that like 8-hour beating or so, when they're beating you with little rods so that you can become impervious to pain, and they're slicking you up with antifreeze, and they're doing it again so that you build a tolerance for pain. That's basically the Iron Body technique, only to another degree. I didn't take that kind of Thai fighting. I did take the Iron Body technique with less the beating and more of the mental focus. So therefore, it does exist. Do I recommend you trying that shit at home? No. Let's get into pressure points now. We've done enough chi. We've done so much damn chi in the other video. I think I might have balanced it out, but time is not on my side right now. So if you're gonna learn Kempo, I'm gonna suggest, since there's 3 versions that I know of now. I only knew of 2. There may be more versions of Kempo, because before we go too deep into what that is, let me break it down to you how martial arts truly works. All right. So you learn a black belt in karate, and everything that your teacher taught you is what you know, not what the teacher knows. So you pick on a student. You teach your student everything that you teach him, but you don't teach him everything that you know, but you teach him enough that he becomes a black belt and teaches his version of what you taught him, which was your version of what your teacher taught you. Alright? So anybody who doesn't know that, you're not learning martial arts. Because here's how this works. If I'm teaching you Kung Fu, I'm teaching you everything that you know, not everything I know. In fact, everything I'm teaching you is something that I can counter. So that if you decide to get uppity and decide, I got a raw hair up my ass, I'm going to come beat up my teacher. Well, there's a reason why I only taught you the shit you know versus everything that I know. Everything I know is to counter everything that I taught you, so that when you decide to get that raw hair up your ass, well, I'm not going to shave my ass today. I'm going to take this raw hair, shove it so far up my ass that it come out my mouth on my tongue, blah, 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 and I'm going to go to my teacher, and I'm going to throw that asshole a beating. And then you're going to come home, broke the fuck up over the rack, because you thought that you knew more than your teacher. So don't ever fight your teachers. It's a bad idea. Now, if you have more than one teacher, you may have a good chance against fighting your teacher. I'm not promoting that, but I am promoting learning more different martial arts, because you may be able to teach the teacher something. I had that issue with Mr. Ennis when I did shit that he didn't teach in his class, and he's like, yeah, we don't do that here. And I was like, okay. Then he came back a few minutes later and said, you know that shit you did, if it actually works, you can do that here. Because we sometimes still move some other styles and other teachers. So we didn't have that problem after my 10 knuckle push-ups. So, but in all honesty, when a teacher who has a black belt is teaching a student who does not have a black belt, they're not teaching them everything that they know. They are teaching them what is teachable from what they were taught by their teacher. And the teacher who taught them didn't teach everything that he knows to that teacher who's teaching another student, because this teacher here might decide, I'm better than my teacher, so I'm going to jump up and go try to kick his ass and take over his shit. It doesn't work like that. Now, it may have worked in the ancient days, but nowadays, people are a little bit more wiser. So they're like, okay, well, I taught you this, but I didn't teach you that. And you can use this on everybody except me, because I taught that shit to you. So unless you catch me in the bed literally sleeping, that shit's not gonna work. Now, on the other hand, there's an exception to every rule. So you have to remember that, again, motherfucker might blink, and you might get a lucky hit in. It does happen. Doesn't mean you're better than your teacher for the rest of the time, but that day may have just been your fucking day. Beginner's luck is a thing, people. Don't make me tell you that shit again. It is a thing. But don't go getting cocky and think that since you beat your teacher, now you can go beat his teacher, or you can go beat another teacher. No, because sooner or later you're going to run into that one teacher who taught all those other teachers everything that you know, but not everything that he knows. And then he's going to walk the fucking mud hole in your ass and stomp that bitch dry. I know I said it reverse. I don't want Stone Cold Steve Austin coming after me. But anyway, point being made, when it comes down to learning a martial art, you aren't getting the full benefit package of what your teacher is selling. Alright? Let me explain that. The teacher only teaches you what they want you to know. They don't teach you everything that they know. And if you don't know that going in, now you do. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I do multiple martial art styles. I was not taught everything that I need to know. A lot of the shit I've had to learn from fucking experience. If you're going up against somebody who knows capoeira and you've never taken capoeira, you're going to learn real quick that unpredictable movement is something that you need to get used to and be ready for. When they start Jenga and it start busting those handspring fucking backflip kick thingies, you need to be ready to get the fuck out of the way. You don't want to walk into one of those. No, you don't. And it can happen. So you don't want to walk into that. But you also need to know how to counter. And this is why blocks are very, very important. Which goes back to Kempo, which is the second phrase of Kempo. Because the first phrase is, everywhere there's a joint, there's a pressure point. The second phrase is, every block is a strike, every strike is a block. Therefore, you want to be well-rounded in that shit in case you have to use it on something else. Now, as a speaking to defend myself on that, Okinawa Kempo and Korean Kempo are the Kempos that I took. I did not know about Shaolin Kung Fu Kempo thingy until this year. Like maybe 4 months ago, when I watched a young lady get an award for this shit on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. I watched her on social media. Might have been YouTube. Either way, I watched her get an award for Kempo, Shaolin Kempo, which I didn't fucking know existed. I knew Kempo existed, Okinawa Kempo, and Korean Kempo, but I didn't know Shaolin Kempo existed. So therefore, I can't say I've taken Shaolin Kempo, but I have taken Kempo, at least 2 forms. So whether it's that I'm good with it or not, doesn't matter. But Kempo is brought up again because Kempo is a featured martial art that does deal with fucking pressure points. Okay? And you can use Kempo and use Mantis at the same time for your pressure point targeting attacks. Now, we're going to get into pressure points within the next few minutes because I have to get my ass ready to go clean some toilets. So, here's the thing about Kempo. Plus, I want to post these so while I'm at work, you guys can, when I get on Instagram, I can send them to y'all. When you're dealing with pressure points, it is more or less about your tactician ability than anything else, and your defense, because your defense has to be on point so that you can find an opening against your opponent's defense, so that your defense and offense are one, because that's pretty much what Kempo is. Again, with what I just said 2 minutes ago, every block is a strike, every strike is a block. Alright? So with Kempo, your offense and defense are one and the same. Alright? Please, if you're not a person who does Kempo, you can't correct me. But if you are a person that does Kempo, regardless of the 3 Kempos that exist, make sure they know I'm right. Because every block is a strike and every strike is a block. Now this was karate chops, but if hit in the right specific spots for Kempo, you know how you can do that. Same thing with knuckle strikes, for like if you're doing this block, but you can turn it into a knuckle strike versus a block, boom boom. You can do one of those. So, and Kempo does do knuckle strikes. Wing Chun and Wushu aren't the only ones that do knuckle strikes. And karate also does knuckle strikes. Again, it depends on who's teaching you the martial art at the time. Some people just prefer teaching people 4 knuckle strike, boom, or 2 knuckle strike. They both exist in a martial art form or not. You can believe it or not. I don't give a damn. I'm not here to make you believe what I'm saying. I'm here to teach you and inform you some shit. And I can knuckle strike your metacarpals and fuck your world up, versus me trying to knuckle strike your face and only wind up pissing you off. Some strikes work better against hands, where other strikes work better against the face. Like a straight punch to the face is a straight punch to the face. But if you're throwing a punch and I punch your punch, so I punch you in between your knuckles and I strike you down here on your metacarpals, I'm going to do a lot more damage to you than you to me, because I'm knuckle striking your shit. Alright? Now that explanation is over, we're going back to pressure points. Now, the thing with Kempo also, because Kempo definitely emphasizes pressure points, you have to understand the angle of a punch or a kick for you to strike a pressure point. Because a punch that's coming straight, I got to get out of the way and tag you, or I got to get above it or below it to tag. Understand what I'm saying? So you're throwing a straight punch, and my target above is anywhere up here. My target below is anywhere down here. If I'm going for a break, I'm going on this side. I'm going to use Kung Fu instead of Kempo. And then I'm going to break your elbow at the joint, because that would be more Kempo as well as old school Wing Chun for the trapping hands. So you understand where we're going. Wing Chun, Wushu, Gung Fu, Karate have grappling moves that also involve pressure points, but they're not emphasized like in Kempo. Kempo is emphasized pressure points, pressure points, pressure points. Everywhere there's a joint, there's a pressure point. Every block is a strike, every strike is a block. I hope I'm not going too fast for you, but time is out. I'm running out of time. So, that being said, you have to understand how these things work. I may do another video about this. I don't really know. I will ask Instagram if they want a 4th video. And until then, I'll see you guys later. Because time, again, is not